Buddy, we are back once again to Brit and Jacob the movies. I'm Britton.
And I'm Jacob.
And today, we're going to be doing a little thing here. We're going to be doing a little special, for the whole month of February. Apparently, it's Black History Month, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about African-American-centric movies for the whole month. Or maybe we'll split between two movies about Black History Month and then two movies about Valentine's Day. But, you know, I haven't made up my mind exactly. But we're going to be talking about movies about black people today. We will be talking about movies with black people. That kind of sounded bad. What do you think, Jacob?
Basically any movie. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, not that we don't talk about movies that have black people in it, but we're talking about a movie that's about the African American experience. That's good, right? That's better.
Yeah, that was better put.
That's better put. Okay. I apologize to black people who might watch this. I'm trying not to offend anyone with this video.
Just to put it short, basically any film that tackles the topic about African American community.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to put it. Thank you, Jacob. Well, I decided either this or 12 Years a Slave. I thought 12 Years a Slave would be too heavy to start out with, so we decided to talk about Jordan Peele's can't speak today. Jordan Peele's horror satire masterpiece, Get Out. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed this movie. I'll just put my blurb thoughts real quick on how I thought of this. I really enjoyed this. This is one of those movies I wanted to see in the theaters, but I didn't get around to because my dad didn't really want to see it, and I was kind of like, come on. He's like, no. But then I ended up seeing it with my dad, and we both really liked it. This is a really good movie.
Oh, I agree. This is a film when I first saw it I really liked, but upon the years I rewatched it, I come to really appreciate it a lot more and understood what the movie was trying to tell to us. It wasn't just like this horror satire / comedy from Jordan Peele in his first directorial debut, but it of course tackles a topic about racism, but doesn't do it in a pandering or pretentious way, which I really appreciated.
Oh yeah, so very tongue-in-cheek about it.
Indeed.
I mean, this is just a really fun movie. I really enjoyed this film. It's one of those films you can hang out and like talk with your friends, and you can put it on and have a good time watching. But at the same time, you could also look for deeper themes in this film, and you can find it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this film has a lot of heavy hitters, I guess, for lack of a better word. It has Daniel Kaluuya from, I know him from Black Mirror, the episode 10,000 Credits, if I remember correctly. Let me look it up. Oh no, he was in Sucker Punch. Oh, never mind. That's another Sucker Punch, not the one I was thinking of. Okay, never mind. Oh, 15 Million Merits is what it's called, which is a very messed up episode. Oh, God. He was also in Queen and Slim, which was I didn't see it, but I've heard that's a interesting movie. He's also been in Black Panther. He was also in Widows, and he was in Judas and the Black Messiah, which I still need to see. I know Jacob saw it. What do you think of Judas and the Black Messiah?
Great film. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it looked interesting when I saw the trailers.
Oh yeah, I would strongly suggest it. It's on HBO Max.
Yep. So yeah, Get Out is one of those films that this is one of those movies that could have been either really good or not good at all. And you know what? It turned out to be really good, far better than I expected. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
looked
didn't know
good. Like, it looked interesting. I'm like, this could either be really good or utterly abysmal.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah. This is a film I didn't know what to expect from Jordan Peele as a director. I of course only knew him from Key and Peele when he's hilarious, and I also knew him from the film Keanu.
Oh, I was
with,
about to
Key
mention
and
that.
Peele. Yeah,
Very
pretty
underrated
good.
film.
I agree. The underrated comedy. But yeah, when I heard he was going to tackle on a horror film, I was interested because usually when like comedians or comedic actors like take on a more dramatic role or tackle on horror, I'm intrigued because usually they're pretty damn good at it. John Krasinski, known for his more comedic role in The Office, took on A Quiet Place, and he did a great job at that. Same with Jordan Peele. He started with Get Out, and it's a great film.
I mean, then he did Us, which was also very good.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it's as, like, deep, I use air quotes, as this film. I mean, this film, but Us is also very good, and I hope to talk about that at some point, too. But Get Out is a lot of fun. Really, I usually don't like films, and I know we've already talked about another movie that's very blatantly a racism bad type of film. But I really usually don't like watching movies about racism all that much. Because I mean, not to say racism is not a serious issue or anything. That's not what I'm implicating here. All I'm saying is it can become pretty trite after a while.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear about a film that tackles the topic about racism, I always think to myself, it can either be like they can either like make a good film that tackles that topic, but I also want to see them make a well-crafted movie and put some effort into it instead of just pandering us with racism bad thing.
Yeah,
Which,
I mean, oh, sorry.
It's annoying, which is like really frustrating because I don't like it when they just do that. It just for me it's offensive. Where like it's offensive. Like you're just gonna talk about racism bad, but you don't put any effort into making a good film. That's where it bothers me the most. But Get Out is one of those films that tackles that topic about racism, but it's a great film.
Yeah, I mean, I generally hate films that insult the audience or, spoon feeds things to the audience. I don't like films that insult my intelligence, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And luckily Get Out isn't trying to do that. It isn't like it certainly has some clever commentary about racism and all the, subtle ways people can be, prejudiced towards each other. But it's not about that. It's also a fun horror movie about this black guy who gets stuck in this really bizarre conspiracy, which is almost funny, and that's kind of the magic of Jordan Peele's films that he's made so far, is that his concepts are almost comedic in a way.
They are.
Like,
They are.
it's almost too on the nose, but then, like, he'll find, like, a way to play with it and make it creepy.
The story, any of his like stories in his films, they could be like super simplistic, but he executes it in a way that's entertaining and not like pandering. It's very comedic and also while also being scary at the same time and being very clever.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. There's also just... I love how this movie almost pokes fun at itself in some scenes, particularly towards the end, where you're just... It's almost like Peele is begging us to be like, okay, this is dumb. This is so obvious, but they play with it in a really cheeky way, which is, very funny.
Yeah, that's the thing I love most about Jordan Peele's films, that they're very aware of what they are, and they embrace it.
Yeah, you think it's like, that's dumb. you would think at first when you see this movie, you're like, that's dumb. Like, come on. Like, really? Like, have they really run out of ideas? Like, come on. Like, this is dumb. But then they really play with it. They play it up, I guess, is a good way to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. Also, it has, in my opinion, one of the best friend characters ever in a movie. But we'll get to that. We all need a friend like Rod. I'll just put it that way. What do you think, Jacob?
I couldn't agree more.
T.S. motherfucking A. Anyways, so, what are your blurb thoughts on Get Out, Jacob?
In short, I love this film. It's a film I love more when I watch it more times. Like, I find it to be a very clever and brilliantly written film. I believe Jordan Peele also wrote this film. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
He's also a great writer. He's also an amazing writer from the films I've seen him tackle from what he has directed. But anyway, it's, as I said, it's a clever, brilliantly written, and wonderfully uncomfortable horror movie, challenging racial stereotypes and viewer expectations with almost every scene. The acting is outstanding. Daniel Kaluuya, what a strong debut in film for me, because this is the first film I saw him in, and he did a phenomenal job as the premise and the realization. A pretty wild and fun ride, not without humor, and the humor is also really good in this too, but also a pretty gory final. No, wait, what was I? Oh yeah, it's one of the freshest horror thrillers I've seen in recent year, and it is deserving all of the praise it is getting.
Oh, I agree. I think this is one of the best mainstream horror films that's been made in a long time. And a lot of people are like, man, they're running out of ideas. Literally watch Get Out. Like, it shows you that there are still people in Hollywood that still have a good couple of ideas.
Yes, and Get Out is a prime example.
All right. Let's get into this.
Oh boy.
What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, let's get into this puppy.
All right, so we begin our movie with Chris Washington, played by Daniel Kaluuya. He's a black photographer from Brooklyn, and he's kind of a normal guy, living his life, and also very nice. I think this is the introduction to the movie where we hear Childish Gambino's song "Redbone," which is awesome. So I really like that song. And we kind of get a nice. We kind of get a nice montage of what he does for a living, which is he takes photographs, and he also has a girlfriend named Rose Armitage, which is like the most white name ever. I'm a white guy, and again kind of gets to this movie, like, it really plays up the stereotypes about of like races, or not racism, but like of the races, like these like super sophisticated white people, and then there's like the black guys who kind of are loud and whatnot, and yeah. We also meet his best friend Rod, who is the best character of this movie. I just have to say.
Oh yeah, he's the MVP of this film.
Oh my god, he's amazing. And he's like, and they're like talking about his job, and he's like, dude, I'm part of law enforcement, and the guy's just like, and Chris is just like, dude, you're a TSA agent, like, calm down. He's like, yeah, man, we check to see if they're gonna be terrorists out here, and he's all like, you're an idiot. But no, Rod is a real G, I gotta say.
Oh yeah,
like,
he is a goat.
Yeah, we all need friends like Rod.
I wish.
Oh my god, we need more friends like Rod. Be more like Rod, ladies and gentlemen.
please.
And he's like explaining to him like, yo, or isn't he explaining to him he's gonna go visit his girlfriend's family?
Oh yeah, yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's all like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and he's like, oh man, you know how it is, or no, wait, the movie starts with the guy getting kidnapped, right?
Oh yeah, it starts with the guy getting kidnapped, and
then yeah.
To Daniel Kaluuya's character.
Then we get to Kaluuya's character, but anyways, man, we were almost there. We also meet Chris's girlfriend. Her name's Rose, and she wants him to meet her family. And, he's kind of like, it's kind of that whole guess who I brought to dinner sort of thing where he's not really sure what they'll think of him. And she's like, nah, it's fine. They love, my parents aren't racist or anything like that. It's not like it's going to be an awkward thing, but he's like, okay. Like, he's kind of unsure. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, he's unsure even though Rose is like, telling him it's like, my family's not racist, so they won't care that we're in an interracial relationship. But he's still like, I don't know.
She's all like, oh, they'll love you. And he's all like, I don't know. So he's like, okay, like that's, and he finally caves and is like, you know what, fine. Like, you know what, fine. Let's just do this. So, he tells his boy Rod about it, and Rod's just like, bro. Of course, Rod is just suspicious of this whole thing from the get-go. I mean, he's all like, man, why are they inviting you now? Have you heard that, like, some black guy's been disappearing? He's like, dude, what's the likelihood I'm gonna get kidnapped? Like, come on. And he's like, I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, Chris is like trying to be the rational guy about all this, and he's all like, man.
And then Rod's like, dude, how are you not scared of this, man?
And Chris is like, man, dude, they're just people. Like, come on. And he's all like, bro, white people are always wild and shit and whatever. I forget exactly what they say to each other, but basically, Rod is not happy about this, and Chris is trying to be like, look, I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, it can't be that bad. The worst they can do is, look at me weird because, I'm dating their daughter. I don't know. But he's like, I'm going to go. And Rod's like, okay, but keep me in mind. I'll keep... But, better keep me in mind. I'll use my TSA powers to come get you. And he's like, all right. And he laughs. He's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. We'll do that. So, after a little bit, Rose ends up taking Chris on a drive. And for a while, things seem to be going well. And, that's until they hit a deer on the road.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, ja, okay, hello there, deer. And apparently the deer noises were made by Jordan Peele. Which...
Oh, wow.
I'm like, huh, like, what do deer noises sound like? I guess what they sound like in this movie. Wait, what'd you say?
I was like, do they even make noises?
I don't know. I guess it sounds like what Jordan Peele made, but I guess he made it. But yeah, they drive and they end up hitting the deer, and this cop shows up and he's all like, hey, is this black guy threatening? This is one of the only parts of the movie I was like, okay, like, come on. But this cop's like, is this man uncomfortable? Is this man making you uncomfortable? She's like, nah, man, he's my boyfriend. It's cool. And he's like, okay, just making sure. That's the only real thing I was like, okay.
Yeah, that scene for me was like a little on the nose about the racism thing. Like the cop ask Chris Washington for his license, but
yeah.
Rose tells the cop he wasn't driving, And then the cop was like, I don't care. I just asked him for his license. I was like, okay, that's a bit on the nose, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it's kind of like later when her dad's just like, I would have voted for Obama 3 times.
Okay.
Which is probably the only line I'm like, oh god. Like, it's just best president of my lifetime. I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, you can't change what's undone, as they say. But, it kind of starts off a little rough. You're like, oh, okay, like, I can deal with this. And they continue driving, and they end up showing up at their house, and like, finally, they're here. And it's like this really nice little country house. Reminds me of my Aunt Barbara's house out in the country.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a nice little house out in the woods. Very... Not shady at all, by the way. You know, I should also note, I like how this film plays with horror tropes, you know? Because I think Jordan Peele was like, dude, I'm sick of the black guy dying in these sort of movies. I want to make a movie where the black guy gets out.
Because that always happens.
You know, usually, no pun intended, by the way. I said gets out.
Yeah. I thank you, Jordan Peele, because that's always bugged me. I was like, why is, like, the black guy or any minority die first in a film? I've noticed that lately. And when Jordan Peele, I was like, I was like, thank you, Jordan Peele. Lifesaver.
I also like how this movie gets better as it moves along, because, I mean, there's some things in here that seem a little rough at first, but as the movie goes along, it just gets better and better. Or at least I think so.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, so I think Chris is like chilling out and he meets the family, and immediately you're like, oh, okay, they seem alright. The dad hugs him and is all like, I voted for Obama I would have voted Obama for a 3rd term. Best president of my life. It's just like, oh god. I don't know why, that line just bugs me for some reason, and I don't hate Obama or anything. It's just, I don't know. What do you think, Jacob?
No, when he said that, I was like, oh, they're one of those white people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's it. I'm just like,
racist. I have black friends. Oh, I voted for Obama. Obama's the OG or whatever, or the MPP.
He makes the rest of us white people look bad. I'll put it that way.
When he said, like, Obama's my favorite president, I could vote for him 3 times. I'm like, oh boy.
I think that was the point of the scene. It's just like, oh, dude.
Okay, they're not racist, but they're those type of white people where they're like, I have black friends. I'm not racist.
Yeah, they're the I'm not racist white people who are like, you know, often like trying to often show how not racist they are. It's like it's really corny and kind of sad. It's like, okay, we don't think you're racist. You don't need to say it, but, you know. I think that's the point of the scene, just to go like, oh, God.
Jordan Peele. Yeah, that was definitely Jordan Peele's intention, and brilliant job on Jordan Peele's part.
The mom seems kind of, like, better together. She seems like the most normal out of all of them.
Oh, most definitely.
Aside from Rose, she seems like the most normal out of all of them.
Yeah.
And then there's the brother, who's just the biggest fucking creep.
Oh, God.
He's just the biggest creep ever, and he chills out and he, strums his, tennis racket. It's so, there you go, there's another thing, it's super on the nose, and it's, really funny. It's almost funny how creepy he is, played by, character actor Caleb Landry Jones, who, oh man. He's really good in this.
Oh, I love him in this.
I just think it's funny just how creepy he is. He's so off-putting from the moment you meet him. He's all like, yeah, bro, how you doing? And Chris is just like, hey, man, I'm just doing my thing. And he just hugs him. And it's, really weird. And he's like, okay, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I love how creepy he is, but it's so done in a comedic way. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it, again, kind of shows that Jordan Peele knows the genre of horror. Like, you can tell throughout this movie, he very much knows the genre, and he's good at playing with the genre of horror.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, Jordan Peele, like he knows like how to handle horror, but also adds his comedic flair to it.
Oh yeah, like this film is hilarious at a lot of points.
Oh yeah,
especially when it comes to Rod, but we'll get to that later. Also, Chris has a habit of smoking, and yeah, that's kind of annoying. Rose is like, "Oh, stop," and he's like, "No," or something like that. Or he wants to quit, but he's like, "No." He's kind of half-hearted about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I kind of want to quit, but I don't really want to. And yeah, he ends up like I like one of the thing. This is like even later, but I really like how this film references like racism without like being overt about it. Especially later in the movie. This one, I like how the house feels like an antebellum South home, like in the South. I don't know if you noticed that, but I always thought that was an interesting detail, especially later at the party scene.
Oh yeah, I love that detail as well. I've always thought that, but I didn't know how to put it in words.
Yeah,
put it quite well.
Chris ends up that night, but they seem to get along. They have dinner later, and they have dinner, and like Jeremy's like being weird, and he grabs him and is like hugging him, and it's like I would have taken that if it were me. I would have taken that as a red flag, but if he would have, then a movie wouldn't happen. So
Yeah, like if I were rotting that film and I was hugged by him, I'd be like, oh boy, red flag, red flag.
I would have gotten a red flag. I'm sure Chris is like, I'm sure he's just eccentric. I'm sure it'll be fine. Definitely won't regret it later.
Whatever you say.
And, everyone seems to be getting along, but again, I like how there's that sense of, like, there's something off. That's also another thing I should know. I really like in this movie how, even when they're, like, trying to be normal and, like, nice to him, like, there's something off. Like...
Yes. And credit to the actors, too.
Oh, yeah.
About pulling that off. Where, like, even when they're acting normal, as you said, that you can tell that there's something not right.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with Jeremy. He's just fucking, like, staring him down, fucking salivating.
Oh, boy.
He's, like, salivating at the point. You're just like... Is he okay? Like, I would have at least been like, is he alright? He seems kind of weird to me, and he's like, he's fine. But, I
don't know. Okay.
I'm like, I don't know, he seems weird to me. Oh yeah, especially with the black, the people who work with them, which again kind of goes back to antebellum South imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one who's dressed up as a maid, and she's all like, hey, how's it going? And she's all, like, acting really nice and smiley. And I don't know about you, but I always get really turned off or I always get really suspicious of people who are just super, super nice,
Oh, yeah. When I see someone who's, like, uber nice, I'm like, okay, this has to be an act, because nobody's that nice.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me being cynical, but I don't know. It's like, sometimes when I see, like, really super nice people, I'm just kind of like, okay, something's off here. I don't know what it is, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on you.
Yeah, and especially with this fucking family. And I'm sure Chris is probably going through the notions like, they're fine, and they also like the black garden keeper guy. He's like, I don't know. He has a habit of running around.
Mm-hmm.
But that's later. And he also sees a picture of Dean, who's the dad. They see Dean's father, who actually who actually was in the Olympics the same time as Jesse Owens. That's nuts.
Oh wow. That's crazy.
And he says, my dad played against Jesse Owens. He never got over it. Which, by the way, brilliant foreshadowing.
Oh, indeed.
Which brilliant foreshadowing for later. I'll give Peele that. Like, he's on a fucking roll with this. Like, he's like, yeah, this movie looks like a lot of fun, and he does that, and you're like, oh boy. He said he never got over it. This is definitely gonna go wrong at some point.
Indeed.
So, yes, things seem to be going well, and he calls Rod, and he's all like, yeah, it's actually going pretty good, and he's all like, okay, whatever. So then that night, Chris is outside and smoking. He can't really sleep, so he goes out and smokes. And while he's at it, he sees the garden keeper running around. And there's actually a funny story about that. I remember I watched a video of Jordan Peele doing one of those, he was talking about Get Out theories. I don't know. Have you seen that video on YouTube, Jacob?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about, like, theories people have come up with, and he's talking about if there's any, like, credence to it. And he's like, the guy's running around because of, yada yada, and he's like, yeah, the whole Jesse Owens thing. And he's like, I actually had a line in one of the earlier scripts where he's like, I beat your record, Jesse, but it's like, nah, it's a little too on the nose.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked.
That would have been like, okay. I would have fucking done. I would have gotten up and left right then and there. I've been like, okay, this family's weird. I'm leaving.
I would have rolled laughing because of how on the nose that was.
Yeah, I would have guffawed right in front of the theater, and everyone's like, what? Then Missy shows up, and she's like, oh, can't sleep. And he's like, yeah, just kind of, just chilling, Yeah, I can't really sleep. She's like, come in. Let me show you what I do, like, how you doing? And he's all like, so what exactly is it that you do? And she's like, well, I'm a hypnotherapist, which, I've seen hypnotism before. Very creepy stuff. Like, I don't know how that works, but...
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not a comfortable experience.
I've never been hypnotized, and I kind of don't want to, because it seems like a very uncomfortable experience.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, no thank you.
Yeah, but Rose's mom's like, come in, let me, have some tea. Let's talk for a while. And he's like, okay, fine. And she's all like, oh, you smoke often? And he's like, yeah, Rose always gets after me for smoking, but I don't know, I just can't really get over the habit, And she's all like, well, I can, she's all like, I can make you feel sick when you, think of cigarettes. He's like, oh, really? Like, he's almost skeptical. He's like, oh, yeah, I'd like to see you try. And she's like, all right. And, okay. So, she ends up, basically, she tries to hypnotize him. So, she starts talking to him, and she starts trying to hypnotize him, which I'd say this is some of the creepiest parts of the movie.
Oh, most definitely.
When he goes into the Sunken Place.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. And we also end up learning Chris's backstory, that his mom got hit, she got hit by a car and killed in a hit and run when he was a kid. And he also feels really bad about it, obviously, but also he feels sad because he feels responsible because he feels like he waited too long to call for help. This is a really clever way to get expositional dialogue out of the way without, actually saying it. Saying, oh, my mom got hit by a car and I feel bad about it,
Yeah, and once again, It's all about execution, and the execution of this exposition, basically this exposition, brilliant.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And he ends up going into this thing called the Sunken Place, where he's basically like floating in this void, and you're just like, oh god, just that's horrifying to me. I don't know about you, but just not being in control of your body.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Just being like a mindless slave, and they really like push on that later, but it's like, God, like that's really an uncomfortable sensation. I'm sure that's a terrifying idea.
Oh yeah.
And he ends up going to the Sunken Place, and he's just kind of like there for a bit. He's like floating around, and he ends up waking up the next morning. And he's all like, "Man, I've had a crazy ass dream. Your mom, she was like, she was straight up wild." But he ends up going to get breakfast. He's about to go smoke a cigarette, but now he just can't do it anymore. He's like, ugh. And he kind of like laughs. And he also sees Walter, who's like, "Hey, I saw you the other night." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." It's like, yeah. He's like, "Oh, yeah. Guess it wasn't a dream." And he also saw that his hypnosis was a success. And I like the scene where he's almost like, "Huh." And Rose is like, "What?" He's like, "Well, your mom said she was gonna, try and cure me of my smoking, right?" She's like, "Uh-huh." It's like, "Well, now I look at these, and now I feel sick." So it works. Which is both relieving and very terrifying.
Yeah, so it's like, a blessing, but also not. Where I don't want to smoke anymore, but at the same time, I was in a sunken place, and that was not a great experience.
So they end up hanging out some more, and on the meanwhile, the black lady who works for him, Georgiana, ends up accidentally, air quotes, unplugs Chris's phone, draining the battery. Yay. So later on, we have a little party, which this is actually one of my favorite scenes of the movie, aside from like the ending climactic part. Again, very, very into the antebellum South imagery, particularly with the white people hanging out. And there's there's this black dude hanging out, and it's like, again, it's like, it seems nice at first, but there's something off. Which, again, is one of my favorite parts of this movie, is that, even when there's normal things going on that you wouldn't really think about, there's something off about it.
Yeah, everything feels off. Even when, as you said, even when everything seems normal and fine, you can always tell there's something off, that there's something not right. And Jordan Peele, man, brilliant job.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Even the black guy in this scene, played by Lakeith Stanfield, who, if there was a list I made of actors I should keep an eye on, then, that would be, one of them, at least, would be Lakeith Stanfield. I think he's a very, very talented individual.
Oh, I love him. Very underappreciated.
So yeah, but this party, it seems normal, and you're like, oh, this is kind of charming, and but something seems really off. Like, some of the white people are like touching up on Chris. Is like, "Man, I really like your." He's like, "Man, Tiger Woods, you got that Tiger Woods physique," and it's like really weird, and Chris is just like, "Thank you, appreciate it," and they're all talking about like, "Oh man, it's like Tiger Woods, man," and Chris is like taking photos, and this other white guy shows up, and his name's Jim Hudson, played by Stephen Root. He's been in a lot of movies. He's been in Office Space. He's been in a couple of Coen Brothers films. He was in Barry, which is an excellent show, by the way. You should go check it out. He's also in Gravity Falls. He plays Gideon's father. But yeah, basically he's been in a lot of movies. He's very well-known character actor. And he plays Jim Hudson, who's this art critic. And, he takes an interest in Chris. He's like, oh, you got the photography skills. And he's like, yes. Oh, thanks. He's like, I've been appreciating your work. And he's all like, oh, thank you. Appreciate it, man. Then Chris meets another black guy. And his name is Logan King. And if you thought this whole party was a little sus, wait till you meet this guy. This man calls himself Logan King. And he's like this really nice, smiley kind of a dude. And immediately Chris is like, that's interesting. And he's with like this really older white woman.
Yeah, and it's super weird.
Yeah, and it's really weird. And Chris, of course, is like, that's weird. Because I guess he's thinking what we're thinking. He's like, this is weird. And this is weird. And he's acting like really nice and smiley. And Chris is just creeped out by this dude. And he ends up like going up later, and he ends up calling Rod on the phone. And oh man, I love these parts in the movie when he calls Rod on the phone.
Oh yeah, they're my favorite bits of the movie.
And he calls him on the phone. And he's all like, "Dude, like I just saw another black guy, and like he was freaking weird, man. He was like, and Rod, of course, his brain is yeah. What's the how do you say that term? The wheels start grinding or whatever. I forget. The gears start turning in his head, and he's all like, oh. He's like, wait a minute, that guy sounds familiar. I was like, how old was the guy? And he's like, about my age, probably, our age. He's like, yo, dude, I was reading up on the news. Yo, man, I was reading up on the news about this guy called Andre King, or this, what's the dude's name? Hold on. Are you okay? What's going on over there? I can hear noise.
What? No, it's my sink.
Oh, it's your sink? Yeah. Are you like walking around?
Oh, yeah. It's just me in the house, so.
That's.
So I'm free.
And he ends up seeing, he's like telling Rod, like, dude, I'm seeing this dude, and he's just fucking weird, and I don't know what his issue is. And Rod's just like, yo, try and send a photo of this dude, and he's like, okay. So he tries to, like, take a photo all, not... He's trying to be on the down low about it, but the flash accidentally goes off. And, well... Wait, what?
Oh, nothing.
Well, the flash goes off, and then Logan ends up, he ends up starting to go on, like... He starts, like, getting real freaked out, and he goes over to Chris, and he's like, yo, man... Get out, and he's like starts shouting at him to get out, and Chris is like, what the fuck? And some of the other people start restraining him as he's yelling, get out, and they end up like dragging him away, and Chris is all freaked out, and they end up like, and Chris is like, oh, that was weird, and they're like, oh, it's okay, like it. And, like, they yada yada. And then later on, he shows back up, and he's all, like, he's back to being his kind of, like, nice and really weird,
Mm-hmm.
He's all, like, super nice, and he's acting really docile. Like, it's really bizarre.
Oh, yeah. Once again, just weird as hell.
Oh, yeah. Now, again, they really do that uncomfortable weirdness, uncomfortable niceness very well.
They do.
Dean later is all like, "Oh, Logan, he just had a seizure. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be okay." And Chris is kind of spooked by the whole thing, so he ends up going back in the house, and he's all like, "Rose, you gotta get the fuck out of here." And she's all like, "Oh, come on, it's like, come on, it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong." He's all like, "No, like, come on." Like, it's like, "No, I don't like this. I'm kind of." I don't like this. And he's trying to like tell Rose like I don't like the feeling of this. We gotta leave. And she's like, nah, it'll be fine. And yeah, it's really it's that old cliche. They suspect something's wrong, and then it's like, nah, it'll be fine. What do you think about this scene?
Yeah, Jordan Peele once again playing with the horror tropes brilliantly. By the way.
Oh yeah, well done.
Yeah, Jordan Peele, mad respects. Kudos.
On the meanwhile, Dean holds an auction with a photo of Chris, and Jim ends up winning it in the process. And there's this, like, again, the antebellum South imagery is, like, super, like, is, like, really, it's almost like a slave trade.
Oh, yeah. Good way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like, just the way it's shot and the way it looks. Like, there's old paintings of slave auctions. I don't know if you've ever seen them. But it reminded me a lot of that.
Indeed. Oh, yeah.
Or, the 13 Years a Slave when they're selling slaves. Again, it reminds me a lot of that.
Well, I agree. It reminds me of that.
Yep. And so Chris ends up calling Rod after failing to convince Rose that they should leave. And he calls Rod and he's all like, yo, here's a photo. And Rod's like, yo, man, that dude, that looks like Andre Hayworth. And he's all like, what? Who's that? He's like, oh, man, that's a dude who, man, that guy, he disappeared a few weeks ago, man. Like, he's missing. And I'm like, and Chris is like, no way. And he's all like, no, man, I got, oh, shit, man, I'll call you back. He hangs up on him. Then he calls the cops. And he's all like, bro, is this fucking thing going on? And the cops are like, this is 911, how can I help you? And he's like, bro, guys, like, there's something going on here. Like, I got a phone. And he's all like, bro, like, my boy Chris is at his girlfriend's house, and they saw this dude named Logan, and Logan looks like this guy who disappeared. He's called Andre. And the cops, of course, are like, this guy's fucking out of his mind. I love the guy who plays Rod. I forget his name. Let me check it here. Lil Rel Howery. This dude is awesome in this movie. He's just great. I love how he's, like, desperately trying to convince the cops that he's
hilarious.
And the cops are like, what the fuck is this guy? And they think it's hilarious. They're just like, yeah, buddy, like, call us back when you actually got something, okay? And he's like, no, man, I'm on the real, bro, I'm on the real. And they end up, like, hanging up on him.
And the comedy's so good in this.
Oh my god, yeah, the comedy is amazing in this. Comedy is great in this. I mean, really, Jordan Peele shows he's a great horror director, but he also shows his comedic chops. Like, it is great in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Though, let me tell you, the Rod parts gets better, like, as the movie goes along.
Oh, yeah.
And Rod is just like, I think something's going on here, but, it's alright. So he ends up, like, packing to leave because he's like, I don't like this. And he ends up finding photos of Rose in prior relationships with other black partners, including the people who are Walter and Georgiana. So, yep, there you go. Red flag. Definite red flag.
Oh, big time red flag.
And I gotta give it to Chris here. He is not playing around. He's like, I am leaving right now. We are not fucking around here. And he ends up going all like, yo. And he's all like, Rose, we gotta leave right now. And I love the tension in this scene. Like, this is another one of my favorite parts of the movie is when he's all like, bro, get the keys now. And she's all like, I'm trying to find him. And he's all like, get the freaking keys right now. And like, Dean's standing there smiling and Missy's standing there like with her tea. And then there's fucking Jeremy in the background, like, playing a little guitar. It's so bizarre, and it's really weird. It's like, it's almost funny.
Yeah, it gets my heart pumping, but at the same time, I'm entertained by it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, bro, it's like, Rose, get the keys, and she's all like, I'm looking, and it's like, this bitch is faking it. And then she just goes like, and then she kind of drops the act, and she's all like, bro, I got the keys right here. I can't let you leave. He's like, ah, shit.
Oh, boy.
So Chris just tries to just fuck it, let's get out of here, and he starts attacking Jeremy, and Missy ends up using the hypnotherapy she used on him earlier, and she ends up knocking him out. We're like, ah, shit.
Oh, no.
This is a great scene. I really enjoy it. What about you?
Oh, me too.
Oh, so much suspense
I
in
love
that
this
scene.
Absolutely. The suspense is just like, from like 0 to 10 for me in regards to the suspense in this scene. Like, I have my heart pumping.
Oh, man. And just like, I love it. And I love it. Like, it's so good. It's so well done.
It really is.
And I love just the sense of tension in Daniel Kaluuya's performance, and the actress, I forget her freaking name. Her name's Allison Williams. She's like pretending to pretend that she's being all freaked out. And we got Landry Jones being all fucking weird in the background. We got Bradley Whitford who plays Dean. He's all like smiling. The dude's playing the wife, and she's all like, yo, you know, she's just standing there like having her tea. She's really obsessed with that tea.
Yeah, a tea addict.
Yeah, but also she uses it to control black people. So, yeah, Chris ends up waking up in the basement in a chair. He's strapped in a chair, and he's like, "Ow, damn it!" And Jeremy shows up, and he's all like, I gotta show you this photo here. I gotta show you this little video here. And Chris is all like, yeah, okay, fine. And Chris just like... And Chris is like just sitting there, and I love how they explain this. There's like this little like, you know, old video, and there's Rose's granddad who's like sitting there, and he's all like, you see, our family transplants, and he basically explains what the whole thing is going on here, which is basically they transfer their mind into other people's or they transfer their brains into other people's bodies, or something like that. And they basically use the Sunken Place, that void that Chris was in earlier, to keep the black people, you know, down in there while the white people are basically using their bodies. It's basically like they're making themselves immortal, in a way.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's really fucked up, and you're like, Jesus. And again, really horrifying idea, just...
Yeah, I love the fact on how horrifying and just, like, creepy it is.
But I also kind of like how it's almost silly. It's almost like, really? Like, that's the evil plan? And he's also like, well, you black people have physical characteristics that us white people just cannot, deal with, and whatever. We just can't replicate. So we decided to just take your bodies. And you're like, again, it's almost silly, but they play with it in a way where it's really well done. It's really creepy too.
Yeah, it's creepy, but at the same time, when you hear the what they're doing, it's just like, this is dumb.
This would be really dumb if it weren't creepy.
I know.
Like, Reddit conspiracy posts can't make this shit up.
No, like if this was a straight up comedy, it would just be straight up dumb.
Yeah. So I guess it's a horror movie. I guess we'll make it work in a horror movie. And Jim basically comes on, he's all like, oh, I don't give a shit about your race, I just want your eyesight. Like, thanks, man. I love how he just shows up to make sure, hey, not a racist, I just want your eyesight, okay? Like, there you go, not racist. Washing my hands off this thing. It's like, that doesn't make it any better.
I was like, alright, sure, man, whatever you say.
It's like, it doesn't make it any better. And you can see Dean and them getting ready. And then you can see this really creepy scene of Rose eating Fruit Loops without the milk. Like, what is this? It's almost like, I like how the people in this, the villains in this movie are almost robotic.
They are robotic.
They are robotic.
Like, yeah.
It's just like, she's just eating the Fruit Loops without the milk. That fucking monster. Who doesn't eat Fruit Loops without milk? Fucking
yeah. Who doesn't eat cereal without milk in general?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, who freaking does that? Maybe Lucky Charms. If it were Lucky Charms, it'd be like, okay, fine. But Fruit Loops? You're just eating them like, you're eating them like goldfish. It's so weird. And then she ends up getting a call from our boy, Rod. Oh, this is my favorite Rod scene in the whole movie. Aside from like the very end of the movie.
Oh, mine too. I was really excited to get to
Oh my god. You wanna take this on real quick? I wanna prep for this scene.
Alright. Where am I? I totally... So Rod calls, and... Damn it, I forgot. I'm not prepared today. You want to take it from here?
Alright. So, our boy Rod calls her on the phone, and she's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Or her face is just, like, glazed over, but she's acting the part. He's like, oh, hey, Chris isn't here at the moment. And he's all like, oh, yeah, well, why don't you let Chris tell me himself? She's like, oh, no. And then she starts, like, getting really weird. She's all like, oh, you want to fuck me? And he's all like, what? No, I don't want to fuck you. And then he, like, puts it on mute. He just starts, like, pacing around. He's like, oh, you fucking bitch. You're so fucking smart. Oh. And it's like, it's so good.
He's just panicking and just saying all this. It's so fun. It's so hilarious.
It's so good. It's so funny. And he's just, like, walking around like, oh, that fucking bitch. She's so fucking good. Oh, my God. And our boy, and she's all like, oh, you want to fuck me? Is that it? And he's all like, no, I don't want to fuck you. What is this?
It is really weird.
It's so weird. Again, like, Jordan Peele just nails these people are really weird, and oh my god, they're weird. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
They're weird. And
I'm gonna show you if they are.
and I love how he's just like pacing around. He's like, fucking bitch, I can't even fucking believe it. And he's like, she's so fucking good, oh my god. I forget exactly everything he says, but basically just him pacing around. He's freaking out. He's like, oh man, my boy Chris is all... he's scared for his boy. And, I gotta give it to him. Rod's actually a pretty good detective, I gotta say.
He is. Not just funny, he's also a pretty good detective.
Yeah, it's like, he's smarter than he lets on. So he ends up tracking Chris's phone through her phone call. And after she hangs up, he ends up tracking the phone call. I think that's how he finds Chris, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's how he...
yeah. Yeah. So earlier Missy knocked Chris out, apparently, with her hypnosis. But we also saw that, there was a little, a tear in the couch.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh boy. And let me tell you right now, what's about to happen in the last, 20 minutes of this movie. This is one of my favorite revenge sequences ever in a movie. I just have to say.
Oh, mine too.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
awesome.
why. I don't know why. But I love to it's not even that these characters are that hateable. It's just like, you feel good seeing them, just get fucking wrecked by this dude. And I love the visceral, I love the visceralness of his revenge.
Me too. It's so satisfying.
Oh my god, it's so satisfying.
Like, even though they're not those type of white people where they're just straight up racist, but at the same time, as I said, you know, they're those white people.
Yeah, they're basically crazy. Not basically, they are fucking crazy.
And you're just like, yeah.
But as they say, positive racism is still racism. So I mean, okay. But yeah, just so Jeremy comes to fetch Chris for the surgery because apparently Dean does his neurosurgery to make him, you know, do have the process. But Chris, cleverly, I really like Chris's quick thinking in this scene. That's also why I like the scene. It's like all that frustration for all the token black guys dying in the movie, just like coming out in the scene.
And I'm like, yes, thank you, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, and you know, creepy ass Jeremy comes in to get him, and foolishly unties him, and then he's like getting his stuff ready, and right then he gets that fucking deer that's on the there's a little deer thing taxidermy that's on the wall, and he gets that thing and just jams it right into his chest, and you're like, yeah.
I'm gonna say the imagery in this scene, phenomenal.
Oh my god, yeah, this is a well shot movie. Actually, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, it's very well shot.
So, Toby Olivier, or Tovey Oliver, you did a good job.
Phenomenal.
And he's like, yeah. And he, like, stabs him, like, right in the chest, and it's like, take that. And I really love the visceralness of the scene.
Me too.
It just, like, you know, drives right into his chest. You're like, yeah, boy.
It's like,
yeah. So then later, Dean is, like, you know, getting ready to put Jim's brain into Chris's brain. And he's all like, Jeremy? And he, like, gets outside. And you're like, oh, boy. I love how this scene is shot, too. It's almost like Chris has become the monster you should fear.
Yeah, it's shot in that way. I love it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and then he's like, Jeremy? And he, like, looks around. It's like, he's like, I don't know where he's at. Then Chris just, like, rams the deer antlers right into his, like, chest and throat. And you're just like, ugh.
It's just brutal.
Oh my god. Again, but it's also really satisfying at the same time. I don't know. What do you think? Am I weird for liking this?
I would agree that it's satisfying. And yeah, for me it's very satisfying, but also so brutal, and it's awesome. I might sound like a sociopath, but I don't care. It's awesome.
So, yeah, Chris is just, like, full-on adrenaline mode. Like, he's like, I'm gonna fucking murder everybody in this house. Like, I don't give a shit. And he's like, I'm killing everybody. So...
He's like, I ain't around anymore.
So he starts, like, walking around. He's all breathing. He walks up the stairs, and he sees Missy, and Missy's all, like... And I love the, like, kind of standoff. He's like, sees her at the door. She sees him at the door. And she's about to grab the tea... And he just slaps and he just, like, he's quicker, and he, like, slaps that thing right off he slaps the teacup right off, and you're like, yeah, what you gonna do now, bitch? So then she, like, tries to grab a knife and stab him, but this crazy bastard, he just shrugs off. I love how he just shrugs off getting stabbed in the hand. And he just, like, kills her. I forget exactly how he kills her.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think he, like, jabs the knife he stabbed into her, like, uses his hand that she stabbed, and he, like, jabs it into her neck, if I recall correctly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You're correct.
He's about to, then Chris is all like, fuck this, I'm leaving, and he's about to leave the door, but Jeremy, this crazy bastard, he's still alive. he's still alive. And you're like, oh my god, how did he live through that?
Like, how could anybody live from that?
Exactly. It's like, that looked like it hurt. Like, it looked, and he's like grabbing him, and he's like whispering 1 Mississippi. This is actually my favorite part of the revenge sequence, where he's like, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And then he's trying to get to the door, and he like keeps kicking him. He keeps kicking the door shut. But then he's like, I got an idea. And then he's about to do it again. He stabs him right in the leg with the fork, and you're just like, oh! And then he like grabs him and just beats the living crap out of him until he beats him to death. And you're just like, oh, with like his like rugby ball or whatever the hell that was, he beats him to death with it. And you're just like, yes. And it's like, again, I love the visceral violence of this movie where that shit looks like it hurts.
Me too.
Like, he's wheezing as he, like, just beats the life out of him.
And I'm like, man.
And you're like, God. I mean, he kind of deserves it, but damn.
It's just like, man, it's still brutal, even though he deserved it.
So, Chris is, of course, just shell-shocked, and I forget exactly what Rose is doing, but she's just in the other room, like, listening to music or something. I forget exactly what she's doing, but it's like, how did she not hear that?
Yeah, all of this ruckus going on, even when listening to music, you still can't, like, hear what's going on.
I guess it is kind of realistic, because sometimes I'll be, like, I'll have my AirPods in, and like, and, like, something will happen, and my mom will be yelling at me, and I'll be like, oh, what's wrong? And she'll be like, I was calling at you. But aside from that, I'm surprised she didn't hear any of the ruckus going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Oh yeah, it was also revealed that that Jeremy and Rose's grandparents are inside those 2 black people. So, yeah.
Oh yes.
Which is why he was running around earlier, because he was trying to beat Jesse Owens' record. Ugh. So he ends up taking the keys from his car, and he's like, I'm out of here. And he ends up he hits Georgiana with his car. And he's like, and he's about to leave her, but he remembers his mom, and he's all like, oh, I can't leave her like this. So he carries her to the car, but as he's driving, this crazy woman wakes up and just starts shouting, like, shrieking at him. And she, like, grabs him, and he's like, oh, shit, and he turns over and he ends up crashing the car. And Georgiana gets thrown out of the car and she ends up dying. Which, you know what? I guess that's preferable to living as basically a mindless slave.
Yep. Pretty much.
So, I love the scene where Rose ends up, like, casually walking out and seeing what's going on. And she, like, walks out the front door as Chris is driving away, and she, like, calls to her granddad like a car, or like a dog, and she's all like, get him, granddad. And he starts running at the car. It's disturbing because she's so, like, blank about it. She's probably the scariest performance in this movie.
Oh, I agree, because, like, no reaction or personality, she's just blank.
Her personality is basically...
Lex, get out of there.
Sorry about that. That was my mother. And my dog came in. Oh, where was I at?
Oh, well, Rose is just walking up to the car.
Oh, yeah. Rose just, like, tells her granddad, after him, granddad. He, like a dog, he just starts running after... He starts running after him. So they crash the car, and Chris just gets out, and he's utterly just... He's all fucked up. And Rose takes Chris, she's all like, you killed my family. And he's all like, alright. And then the Walter, who turns out to be possessed by Rose's granddad, as said earlier, is about to kill him. But Chris remembers from earlier when he accidentally freed Logan / Andre Hayworth from his, sunken place. He ends up taking a screenshot in the flash on his phone to make Walter, who's the black guy before, to regain control of his body. And then Walter, pretending to be Roman, he's all like, I'd like the gun back, please. And she's like, I'd like the gun. I'd like to finish him. And she's like, okay. Hands him the gun. He ends up shooting her. Like, right in the stomach like that. And you're like, oh, shit, buddy. And then he ends up taking it and shooting himself.
And it's really weird, but it's just so suspenseful at the same time.
And I guess Walter is like, I'd rather die than keep living as a slave for these people, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what Killmonger said at the end of at Black Panther, where he's like, I'd rather die. He's like, I'd be like my ancestors, because they'd rather die than be in bonds. Which I thought of that when I saw this. I don't know if you thought of the same thing.
No, funny you said that. I was thinking of the Killmonger scene when you brought that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, Chris just, he crawls over the Rose, and she's all like, Chris, I love you, this is a misunderstanding. That whole thing. And he just starts, strangling her, and you can just see the rage and just anger in his face, but she just starts smiling, and he just can't do it. He's like, oh, God. And he's like, oh, God. And then a car shows up. It's almost like the police are on cue. He's like, God damn it. But then
we realized.
And Rose is all like, help. And then she gets out. And it turns out it's our boy. It's our boy. Rod, he's back to save the day. Dude's a homeboy, I gotta say. Rod is the best character in this movie.
He is, without a doubt.
Oh my God. And he's all like, yo, man, what the fuck happened here? And I love how Chris is just like, and Chris is just like, he's like, oh, thank the gods he's here. And he ends up getting in the car with Rod, and Rose is like, wait, don't leave me. And he's like, fuck you, bitch. He gets in the car. And they end up getting in the car. And then we're at the end of the movie. This is my favorite line in the whole movie. And he's all like, bro, I fucking told you not to go and hang out with these crazy ass white people. Chris is like, man, I don't want to talk about it. And then he's all like, how the fuck did you find me anyway? And then Rod, just being a fucking G, he's all like, I'm the TS motherfucking A, bro. We get shit done. It's so good. It's just like, oh man. It's like, Rod is so good in this. I love him.
Oh yeah. When that police car pulled up, I was like, this is not looking good for Chris, especially since he's a black man who is looking like killing a white person. I'm like, oh boy. Then when Rod came out, I was like, oh, thank the Lord in heaven.
I remember there was the original ending was that Chris actually got arrested and went to jail. And Rod visits him. But Jordan Peele was told, or maybe he just felt that it was too dark.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it was and also too on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know what? Fuck it. Chris, he deserves a fucking happy ending. A happy ending. I say that with an asterisk. But yeah, he's all like, I'm the team S motherfucking A, bro. We get shit done. And Chris is just like, what the fuck, man? Just fucking drive. He's like, okay, and he ends up driving off. And Rose is just left there on the road.
Yeah, just helpless. Just
I'm
wounded, injured.
It's like, are you gonna do anything about her? But I guess she's out in the middle of nowhere, so I'm sure she'll die in a few hours.
Yeah, Yeah, she'll have a slow death.
Oh God, yeah, this is. But yeah, that's Get Out. That's the end of Get Out, the movie.
Phenomenal movie.
Oh, fantastic movie. I mean, there's a lot to talk about from just its commentary about racism. It is so clever, so well done. I have to say.
Yeah, while also being incredibly entertaining at the same time.
Oh yes, also some very great humor in this film too, because Jordan Peele, man, he of course he was a comedian before he did his thing as a horror director. You also have. I'm also glad to see smart characters, being smart in these movies. It's not him making dumb decisions. Like, all the decisions feel realistic to me. If I were caught up in this situation, that kind of denial, but then he kind of gets caught up in this situation, and then he ends up using his, intelligence to get out of there. I love this movie.
For me, like, it's up there with Whiplash in regards to, like, strongest directorial debuts ever.
Oh, most definitely. Also one of my one of my favorite revenge sequences ever in a movie. Just...
Oh, yeah. When I think of revenge sequences, I think of Django Unchained and Get Out.
Oh, my God. And Misery for me. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Misery, but...
Misery.
Oh,
Another
my God. I love the revenge sequence in this.
Absolutely. I do, too.
And it's also a really interesting film about, the intricacies of racism, and despite the fact that this nation has made steps to, to try and overcome its racist past, there is still racism in America, and it's not like trying to make like a huge, deep thing about it, but it makes it basically makes the point of it's not over just yet.
Yeah, that's what I love about this movie. It's not like racism, people. No, it does it in a very subtle way where they're telling you it's like, we've changed a little bit, but it's not over yet. Still got a lot of work to do.
But I mean, a lot of it is very subtextual too, so it's very nice, and I like how this film keeps. It's also, this film first and foremost is a very, very entertaining horror film with characters that you can get behind and creepy antagonists that you want to see die, and they do die very, very horribly, and it's very satisfying to watch. Am I a psychopath? I don't know, but it's just it's just a. I don't know. I guess watching evil racists die makes me happy. I don't know.
Damn, what was I gonna say? Made me forget.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to make you forget.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, this film manages to tackle the topic and commentary about racism, and once again, I love it that it doesn't do it in a pandering way where it doesn't shove it down your throat. Racism, bad thing. It's done in a way that I wish certain films that tackle that topic, Queen and Slim, but it also manages to be a really entertaining horror film, a horror / comedy / satire, all in one.
I also like how this film commentates on... I think here's a better way of saying it. I like how this film commentates on the... I like how this film commentates on the still uneasy racial relations in America without being, like, super over-dramatic about it.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining with that commentary. It doesn't, like... It's not, like, trying to, like, blame white people or anything. It's just like, here's a topic we've talked about, and we're going to do it in a fun way. And Jordan Peele isn't afraid to have fun with the concept either, so that's very relieving as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the acting in this film is really good, especially from the family. Like, oh my god, like, I mean, maybe Caleb Landry Jones, but he does his purpose well, and especially Alyssa Williams. She is just, oh man, I neglected to mention just how incredible she is in this film. Like, probably one of the creepiest performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't feel like she gets the credit she deserves in this film. Like, she's amazing.
Oh my god, like, I love her emotional range in this movie. Like, and I like how she's basically acting like she's acting, and it's nuts. I can't say enough.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. She's so great in this film.
Oh my gosh, especially later when she's like eating the Fruit Loops and she's just fucking emotionless. You're like, she's terrifying. She's like the date from hell, man.
Yeah, exactly. Still, who eats Fruit Loops without milk?
Yeah, I know. What a fucking crazy person. Who eats the Fruit Loops without the milk? You know that guy who made the Fanatic review? This is the movie he should call a daring and subvert or whatever fucking thriller. I forget now. I've totally forgotten.
Yeah. A riveting indie with genuine suspense.
Yeah, exactly. They should have that with Get Out. A riveting and genuinely suspense. Or what? Hold on, let me look it up again. This is way better than The Fanatic, I gotta say. I just have to say right now.
Oh, no question about it.
A riveting indie with genuine suspense. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Jake.
I'm so baffled by that.
They should have said that for this movie. Like, this movie's amazing. Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's way more suitable for this film than The Fanatic.
I mean, Peele apparently won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, which that is insane, but it's deserved. Like, that, I'm surprised the debut got as much, Oscar buzz as, well, maybe you could consider Whiplash, but I digress.
Oh, yeah. Like, he won. Yeah, he was, got a lot of nominations. Best Original Screenplay, and Daniel Kaluuya got a nomination for Best Actor, Leading Actor.
Which, by the way, he deserves. He's amazing in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Like, for me, like, strong performance debut for me, because it's the first film I took notice of him. I was like, I gotta keep an eye on that guy.
One of the things I also like, something Jordan Peele. Why do I keep flubbing his name? This is bullshit. This sucks. Anyways, so Jordan Peele, and this is something I've been saying for a long time, but he said that he felt that the horror and comedy genres are very similar. And that he said that comedy gives him something of a training for this film, is what he said. And I'm like, bro, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell people this. And, I feel like they're very similar in terms of its language, because, they're both very hard to pull off, because what scares people and what makes people laugh is such a, is such a complicated thing.
Yeah, it's more complicated than meets the eye. Like, you gotta find a way to scare people that doesn't come off as cheap or just like, oh yeah. But comedy, you gotta make people laugh. You can't just have poop and fart jokes, for example. You have to be smart with it. So yeah, they are similar.
Oh yeah. And, Get Out, then he made Us, and then he's gonna make Nope coming up this year, which sounds awesome. Can't wait for Nope.
Oh yeah, perfect title too.
It's a great title too. I love the title. Nope. It's just like, oh man, it's so good. Oh man. But yeah, I think Jordan Peele is one of the best horror directors working right now, which is something I never thought I'd say. Not for a lack of I wouldn't have believed it, but I'm just saying, not something I would have expected.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was optimistic when I heard Jordan Peele was going to tackle on horror, because I was fascinated to see what a comedian would how a comedian would handle a horror movie, and he did a brilliant job with Get Out. And then after seeing Us, I'm really excited to see what Jordan Peele does next.
Yeah, I mean, I also really like how you can tell that Jordan Peele loves horror. And you can tell he has a love for the genre, especially when you see all the cliches that this film plays with. And it does it in a very loving way. And it's like, really, it's just, I love this damn movie. You know what? I fucking love this movie.
Oh, it's a phenomenal film. I love it.
20, fuck, I just forgot what I was going to say. Damn it. I guess we're both not on our A game today. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, it's weird. Usually I'm like really. I'm better expressing myself when I'm like either writing reviews or doing like 30-second reviews on like Stardust, for example.
Yeah, I miss Stardust. I don't know. I didn't really use it that much. I'm sure Jacob misses it more than I do.
Yeah, I do. It was a fun app.
But I can't wait to see what Jordan Peele does next. I mean, I think he is a great talent, and we should keep our eye on him.
Oh, yeah.
He also helped write the new Candyman movie, which, damn it, I need to see that because Candyman is a freaking great movie, and more people should see it.
Underrated as fuck, too.
Underrated as fuck. I mean, that is a criminally underrated movie.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen the new one. Carlton told me it was really good, so I'm like, I'll check it out when I can.
I've heard it plays around with the mythos. I'm like, oh, yes, that's all I want.
But yeah.
And it's just like, there's so many great... And, I mean, I was going to say, in 2017 was a great year for movies from what I remember. Because there were a lot of fantastic movies that came out that year.
Oh, yeah. Quite a bit of great films. I mean, Get Out. Where are other films?
Logan, which was my favorite movie of the year. Let's see. I have to check my Letterboxd I have to.
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. Yep, that movie.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was really good.
Good Time.
Good Time. Oh my god, that movie's amazing. So many great movies in 2017, and Get Out just happens to be one of them. I love this movie.
Me too. It was my favorite film of 2017 personally.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Wasn't Logan? Well, that was mine. Mine was Logan.
For me, it was Logan, then Baby Driver, my top three.
Oh man, I mean, if you want to talk about just, I mean, incredible films, Get Out. I mean, that's always a good bet.
Oh yeah.
And out of all the great movies that came out in 2017, this one is one of them. I have to say.
Oh, most definitely.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, 2017. I remember, 2017 actually really sucked for me, like personally, on a personal level. But I mean, there were a lot of great movies that came out in 2017, from what I remember.
Yeah, now I'm like searching on Letterboxd. It was a great year for film.
Oh yeah, we got Shape of Water, which was amazing. Totally deserved that Academy Award win, even though Guillermo del Toro should have gotten it earlier. You Were Never Really Here, another criminally underrated movie. Blade Runner 2049, Phantom Thread, War of the Planet of the Apes, 3 Billboards, Brawl in Cell Block 99, 2017. Great year.
The Disaster Artist, Big Sick. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Big Sick. Underrated as fuck movie. First Reformed, another great film. Seriously, 2017. Great year. Great year.
Indeed.
Anyway. So that was our review of Get Out. And, I'll admit it could have gone better, but, we got through it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I did better in this than in Minority Report, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be fine. People will be like, God, these two idiots are still talking. If you don't mind, since we have some time, you want to talk about some other things we've been we've been seeing recently.
Oh, sure. Yes.
What have you been watching, Jacob? What have you been watching recently?
Well, I just started Breaking Bad. I've been really wanting to.
Oh, dude, you gotta tell me what you think of it when you get her. When you're like, you know, when you.
Oh
you know.
yeah. I have been wanting to watch Breaking Bad, and it was on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I'm binge watching this.
Oh, it's incredible. What are you thinking of it so far?
So far, I'm loving it so far. I mean, all the performances and the story. It is so far. I've gotten into like only 2 episodes, and I'm already loving it.
What? Wait, what? Or I was about to say, what episode are you on? But you said 2.
I'm on episode 2. Like, I just started.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I wish you luck in Breaking Bad. I mean, yeah, I think it's an incredible... It is my favorite TV show, so obviously I'm quite biased on this. But, an incredible TV show, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've heard so many so many things about it. It's like, it's the perfect TV show. And I saw Chris Duckman's, review on the series, and I'm like, I gotta check this out.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And finally, it was on Netflix. I was like, I finally get to binge watch Breaking Bad.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I first saw it when I was about 14. I got my parents into it, and we all love it. Fantastic show.
Speaking of Breaking Bad, quick question for you, Britton.
Yeah?
Have you seen the El Camino movie?
Yeah, I have.
How was that one?
Very good. I liked it. I mean, it's a nice coda to Breaking Bad, if you know what I mean. It's a nice epilogue.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the show was like perfectly ended as it was, but like El Camino was kind of like the nice tag on, little thing for the fans, you know.
Okay, that's good. I was worried it was just going to be like this this unnecessary film.
Oh no, it isn't a Many Saints in Newark. I can promise you that.
Awesome.
I mean, is it perfect? No. Is it still good? Yes. I still think it's good. But Breaking Bad, the show, it only gets better from those first episodes.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Show I've been watching, The Book of Boba Fett, actually. I forgot to mention this last week. I started the new Boba Fett show on Disney+. And you know what, Jacob? It's actually pretty good.
Is it?
I like it. I'll put it that way. I like it. I think it's pretty good.
Oh, that's good to hear, because like I've been kind of hell-bent on checking it out, because, you know, I've heard from what I've heard mixed things about it. I was like, I hope it's good, because Boba Fett, underappreciated character, and they finally did him justice in The Mandalorian. And I hope his own series is good.
Oh, his episode in The Mandalorian, that was my favorite episode of the season. Last season.
Mine
Incredible.
Too. I was like, finally, they did Boba Fett justice.
Oh, it was incredible. And in this series, is it as good as The Mandalorian? Well, no, but it is still really good. The 2 recent episodes, incredible, I have to say. Just like, oh, man. Like, first 4 episodes, pretty good. Really liked it. Really liked the direction it was going. I basically described it to Jacob. It's basically like if... it's basically like The Godfather and spaghetti westerns in Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
Also, a certain beloved character from the Clone Wars comes back, and I was so excited. First time we saw him in live action. I won't spoil who, but if you've seen Boba Fett, you'll know who I'm talking about. But I'll leave that up to you. It's a character from the Clone Wars, one of my favorite characters from the whole show. So I'll leave that up to you to figure that out. But or maybe it was spoiled for you on the freaking internet. Bastards keep spoiling everything. They spoiled that for me, by the way, that reveal.
Oh, yeah.
Motherfuckers. No, but the Book of Boba Fett's pretty good right now. Brings characters from The Mandalorian back, so if you're curious about that, there you go. I will say that.
I gotta check it out.
I really like Tamisa Morrison as the character of Boba Fett. He's really good. The woman who plays Fennec Shan, I forget her name. It's like Ming Ya or something. I apologize if I got your name wrong. I really like the chemistry between those two actors. I think they really play well off of each other. A lot of people say that Boba Fett's been nerfed. No, he has not. I wouldn't say he's a freaking savage, but, you know, he's still Boba Fett. He's still cool. Anyway. I mean, these new Star Wars shows, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. It was one of the first movies I ever saw growing up, aside from, like, the Raimi Spider-Man movies. I don't know about you, Jake.
Oh, mine too. No, funny you said that. Mine too. But the first Star Wars film I saw, and I'm glad to say this one, because this one is actually good for me, in my opinion, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, which is the best prequel out of all of them.
Yeah, I have vague memories of when it first came out, but one of the first memories I remember of watching a movie, my grandfather had brought over A New Hope, and I saw it, and I was mesmerized by it.
Oh, it's a legendary film.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot of, like, I'd love to talk about Star Wars someday. That probably in May, not this May, but at some other point, maybe next year, we can talk about Star Wars. Cause, really, I want to save Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, gotta savor the flavor.
Yeah.
For the perfect time.
Yeah, I want to save Star Wars till like a good moment. But yeah, I love Star Wars, and like a lot of Star Wars fans, I've been very underwhelmed by the movies recently.
Oh yeah, Last Jedi. No, not Last Jedi. I don't like Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker in particular. I was just like, nah.
One of the worst Star Wars movies, I have to say. I can't even mince words.
Without a doubt. I couldn't agree more. After seeing Rise of Skywalker, I was just like, I don't like how they're handling the Star Wars franchise. Like, they're doing them dirty. And then I got some hope back when I saw The Mandalorian Season 1. I was like, yay, Star Wars is good again.
Like, oh, a good Star Wars show? Oh, thank you. It's not that hard. Here's the real kicker about the whole situation with the new Star Wars films. It cannot possibly be that hard to make a good Star Wars movie.
No, I mean, Star Wars is so simple.
Exactly. Good guys, bad guys. There you go. And they somehow, like, again, I should save this for if we ever talk about the sequel movies of Star Wars, but this is a movie. These are movies they should have gotten right easily, and they fucking foobarred it beyond all recognition. How the hell did they do that? That is astounding to me.
One reason. They didn't have a plan.
They did not. They didn't. I'm saving that for the Star Wars movies. I don't want to get into that just yet.
Ugh.
But
Yeah.
I will say The Mandalorian has like reignited a spark. Like I'm like, yes, good Star Wars content finally.
I was like, yay. I was like, thank you. Good Star Wars stuff.
I'm like, that's what we want. It can't be that hard. Like, again, Star Wars. It shouldn't be hard.
Yeah. And we also got a great game out of it, Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, yes. Underrated game, too. Like, people kind of liked it, and then they just forgot about it.
Like, come on.
Like, it's a good game. It's well made. There's a good story. The mocap is fantastic. I mean, it's a good game, man.
Like, I'll replay that game multiple times. That's how much I love it.
I got a funny story for you about Fallen Order, if you don't mind me anecdoting a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear this story. So
I was playing it one night, and my little cousin walks in. His name's Christian. He's a bit younger than I am. And he's all like, hey, like, they sometimes like to play on my PS4. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever, fine. Like, I'm not going to let him play something like The Witcher or anything, because, that game's pretty inappropriate for children. But, I had the Star Wars game on there, so I'm like, you know what? I'll let you play. Like, wasn't not expecting anything to happen. So I hung out in my living room for a little while. I come back in. This little shit beat the fucking game while I was gone, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, I literally am like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You beat the game?" I didn't like curse at him, but I'm like, "Are you serious? You just beat this?" He's like, "Yeah, I beat it at my house." And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" I'm like, "Oh, you." I wasn't mad at him. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm not like upset or anything. I'm not like legit upset about it. But I'm like, really? Like, to kind of hit my pride a little bit as a gamer, because I think of myself as pretty average. Like, I like to play the games for the story. I'm not like an epic pro gamer type, Doritos everywhere, smoke weed every day kind of guy. I like playing games for the story, or it's just fun to play, like Minecraft, for instance. And I don't know, I just couldn't get past this one part. And then my cousin just comes in and just goes off. And I'm like, "Are you serious? You just beat this game?"
You can thank me later because I beat the game for you.
And, it's a fun memory, though, to think about. It's a funny memory now, but it's just like, oh, man!
Also, BD-1, my favorite droid.
Oh, yeah, he was great. He's not as annoying as some of the other droids. I mean, I don't really like droids in Star Wars. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I tend to be annoyed with them.
Yeah, like 3PO, I want to fucking smack him. Just like, shut the fuck up about the odds.
Yeah. Looking at you, C-3PO.
And nothing against Anthony Daniels. And from what I've seen, he seems like a lovely chap. And you know what? He's been in like every Star Wars thing ever. Like, that is dedication, I have to say.
Oh, yeah.
He's been dedicated to Star Wars. So I'm not taking that away from him. But I just do not like 3PO. Everyone's always bitching about fucking Jar Jar. You serious right now? 3PO isn't annoying. Like, I was complaining to a friend about this, and my buddy, he's a bit more lighter than I am when it comes to criticism. I'm not even that harsh of a critic anyway, but he's just kind of like, he's like, "I always thought they were kind of amusing." And I'm like, I don't like 3PO. I like R2, because, he's actually resourceful, and he's not just sitting there fucking whining all the time. That's for another time, but, I don't like 3PO is my point. I don't know about you. Maybe you don't feel as strongly about this as I do, but...
I think he's annoying, but I'm not like... I like them in the earlier ones, but in the newer ones, I was just, like, so irritated by him. I was just like, can somebody put me out of my misery?
I mean, there's so many great characters. I mean, it's like, can Chewbacca just, like, smack him, like, once? Or Han Solo, just smack him. Just like, shut up, please. Probably that's not going to happen. They didn't want droid abuse on there. Then we got shows like Clone Wars, which, incredible. Like, have you seen? Like, there's not a bad episode of that series. I know everyone's like, "Oh, filler." Seriously, no bad episodes. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not being... I rewatched it again a few months ago, and I tried to find episodes that I just didn't care for. None of them. Like, there were some of them that the animation was really awkward, but that was it. That was all the issue I had with it.
Oh, yeah, there is no bad episode. Like, I couldn't agree more. There isn't one episode where I was just like, that was a bad episode. Literally, all the episodes.
Well, maybe the Jar Jar ones were a little annoying, but aside from that, and the C-3PO ones I didn't really care for. But aside from that, there is something to like about every episode is my point. Like, there is not a just straight up bad one. Like, I don't care what Marcus at Cosmonaut Variety Hour says, okay? There's not a bad episode of Clone Wars. Check it out. Though it is friendly for viewers who want to skip around, and also for viewers who like to, just watch it all the way through like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, by the way.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great. Just an excellent show. I mean, Rebels, I know some people kind of bitch about it because it's too kid-friendly. You can shut the fuck up. I think it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's still a good Star Wars show.
Like, it's not bad. It's not like the TV shows have really saved Star Wars from being this thing that crashed and burned like 20 years ago. I have to say.
Oh, the great part. Speaking of Clone Wars, I did finish the Bad Batch.
Oh yeah, what'd you think of that? I saw that a few months ago.
Really fun series.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it ain't no Clone Wars, but it is quite good. The animation, though, amazing. Like, they have just taken the Clone Wars style and just refined it, and it just looks... Mwah!
Yeah, the animation from, like, the Clone Wars years, it has gotten increasingly better upon years.
Oh, it's incredible now. Like, yeah. Excellent show. Or not excellent show. It's a good show. I like The Bad Batch fine enough. I'm like, okay.
It was fun.
Like, yeah. It's good stuff.
It was just fun.
Yeah. It's not like Clone Wars or The Mandalorian, but it's good. I enjoy it.
Yeah. It's a fun show. Will I ever watch it again? Probably not, but it was fun.
I mean, and Star Wars have been really good at keeping people excited for it, which is a very nice feeling, because you know what? I'm sick of getting crappy Star Wars content. I don't know about you, Jacob. I'm sure you feel the same way, but I don't want to assume anything.
Oh, yeah. You are definitely right. I agree with you. I'm sick of, like, as I said, after seeing Rise of Skywalker, I was just like, can you stop just shitting on the Star Wars name? Give us good Star Wars content again.
Also, I forgot to mention in my most anticipated things of 2022, freaking Obi-Wan. How did I forget about that?
Obi-Wan, yeah.
I don't know how I forgot about that. But let me tell you, you better know my cock is ready for Ewan McGregor to come back as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Nobody can play Obi-Wan other than Ewan McGregor.
And Alec Guinness.
Oh, yeah. Him and Alec Guinness. But Ewan McGregor,
and we also got projects from Patty Jenkins of Wonder Woman fame, which is probably the best thing that DCEU has done. Aside from maybe Shazam. And Aquaman.
Oh, yeah. Those three, and don't kill me for saying this, the Snyder Cut, for me personally, the best DCU films. But Patty Jenkins doing another film, after what she did with Wonder Woman, I'm interested to see what she does.
I was about to say, I'm going to shoot you. I'm kidding, I won't shoot you. We also have a show about the guy from Rogue One, Cassian Andor, a.k.a. the I've been fighting this war since I was 8 years old guy. Which, yeah, really excited. Can you hear the excitement in my voice?
Oh, yes, I can hear it.
I'm so thrilled.
You are incredibly thrilled.
I don't know who asked for that, but hey, it could be good. It could fucking blow my expectations out of the water. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let me tell you about wasted opportunities. Let's rant about Star Wars a little more, if you don't mind. The fucking standalone movies. That should have been a win right there, man. What do? You make these movies about shit we don't care about. Like, again, what is up with foo-barring things? This should be easy. Like, what is this?
Once again, Star Wars is so simple. How can you fuck up Star Wars?
It's like Solo. Wow, I mean, the guy who played Han Solo was actually really good. I'm not going to take that away from him. He was really good. I like that guy.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty good at Solo.
Like, he was like when I think of a young Han Solo, I think of that guy. Like, you know, he's probably the closest. I mean, no one's going to beat Harrison Ford. Let me just get that out of the way. No one beats Harrison Ford. But let me tell you, this guy, he knows what the fuck's going on. And he didn't try to, replace Harrison Ford or anything.
Oh, no.
Which is nice. Also, Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino, was awesome as Lando. I thought he did a very good job.
Yeah.
as Lando.
If I thought of anybody who could play Lando, Donald Glover is that actor.
Mm-hmm. We also got other films from Rian Johnson, who made The Last Jedi, which I thought was a pretty good movie. Don't kill me. Taika Waititi, which, oh man, I'm excited for that. He's probably the one I'm most excited about.
Oh, me too.
Just bringing his energy to a Star Wars film, I think, would be very fun to see.
Oh, I'm excited to see what he does with a Star Wars project. Taika Waititi, the man. He has saved the Thor franchise.
Let's see him fucking make a great Star Wars movie. Which you better, by the way, or fucking find you in New Zealand and beat you up. I'll fight you. No, I'm kidding. But I will be disappointed that movie sucks. Rian Johnson made, again, The Last Jedi, which I actually kind of liked.
I liked it. I don't care what anybody tells me. I still think it's a good movie.
Like, are there dumb things in that movie? Yes. Is it the best of the sequel trilogy, though? Yes, I think so. Because you know what? Say what you want about it. It actually tried to do something different. Which, that's all I ask. I want to see different stories in the Star Wars universe. You know, as fun as the Skywalker saga is, it's like, there's so much room to do stories in this universe. There is a lot of shit in Star Wars. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, The Mandalorian proves that there is so much you could do with the Star Wars franchise. And it doesn't have to be the Skywalker saga.
No. Like, it proves it can still be simple, but still have a lot of stuff going on.
Exactly. It's
doesn't
like...
have to be super complicated.
It's like, who the fuck asked for Rogue One? It had incredible battle scenes, but nobody fucking asked for it. I didn't ask for it.
Fuck that movie. I don't like that movie.
Talk about mediocrity. I mean, and then Solo, which, you know what? Solo's grown on me. I don't hate that movie. You know what? I'm like, you know what? Is it not necessary? Yeah, it's not necessary at all. But you know what? I kind of like that movie now. Even though it's Ron Howard. Ron Howard directed it, and you know how I feel about Ron Howard. But you know what? Yeah. He did a good job. And you know what? Solo's not that bad. It's grown on me.
Solo, unpopular opinion, Solo was better than Rogue One.
I agree with that, actually.
So, you can come at me, haters, but I like Solo more than Rogue One.
You know what? I like Solo better than Rogue One, too. So, you know what? We're agreeing on that.
Thank God I'm not alone. So
I'll defend you.
Because you know I do not like Rogue One.
Oh, God. Talk about the most underwhelming movie ever. And I'm like, oh, like, wow. Like, you know, when I heard about they were going to make, like, these anthology Star Wars movies that are standalone, I'm like, oh, man, like, Star Wars, like, you know, Clone Wars, like, it showed you can do a lot with Star Wars, man. I'd love to see a movie like that. No, we just got more shit about the Star Wars, you know, the original saga that we didn't even need to know.
No.
Just talk about a squandered opportunity, man.
I know. We already know about the previous stuff from the old films. Give us new stuff, like The Mandalorian.
It's like, do we even need to know where Han Solo came from? And don't get me wrong, that movie's grown on me, but I still complain that it's not necessary. Still a good movie, though. Did we fucking need to know how they got the plans for the first Star Wars movie? No! We didn't need to know that. I mean, yeah, there was an awesome battle scene, don't get me wrong. Last 30 minutes of that movie, amazing. Probably inspired more emotion in me than the entire other half of the movie. I gotta say.
I will say, the final battle in K2SO, for me, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just...
God, I don't like that movie.
We gotta talk about Rogue One of these days.
Yeah, I would just like to go off on that.
Just rip into it. Oh,
yeah, God. just how, in my opinion, how overrated it is.
We also have the MCU mastermind himself, Kevin Feige, working on a Star Wars movie, which that could be interesting.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Also have Ahsoka, which I'm excited because Ahsoka was one of my favorite characters in. She basically becomes the protagonist of the Clone Wars, and I don't give a shit what everyone's saying. Like, oh, there's too much of her. Hey, there's never too much of Ahsoka.
No, Ahsoka Tano, one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
Oh, yeah. I mean... also, Star Wars Visions. I forgot about that series. I actually liked it. I'm not a big anime guy, which I've gotten shit on for, but, you know, I don't know. I've just never really... There are some anime that I like. Cowboy Bebop is the shit. And Death Note, also fucking amazing. But aside from that, I'm bad at watching anime. I've just never really gotten into it. But Visions was actually a lot of fun.
Either.
Oh, what'd you say?
I'm not an anime fan either, so you're not alone.
But Visions was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. The anime Star Wars series.
Especially the one with the Elder and the first one. That was the... Most of the episodes were pretty good. The only one I didn't really care for was the one about those siblings. And it's like, it just becomes like all the cliches I don't like about anime, where everyone's like, yeah! And they just start like yelling at each other, and they're all the animation's all bouncy. It's just, oh god. But aside from that, all of the episodes are pretty solid.
Yeah, I forgot about that show.
Andor, again, the whole one of the most memed lines in the new Star Wars movies, where the guy's like, I've been doing this since I was 8 years old, and it's like, bro, don't fucking I'm never getting over that line. Like, it is so, oh god, I'd love to talk about Rogue One someday. I really do.
Yeah, I would love to rip apart that movie.
Oh man. But yeah, Obi-Wan is just coming back, and I'm excited, man.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait.
Rogue Squadron, which I have not heard of, I have, but curious to see how that'll go. Ahsoka, which again I'm looking forward to that. The Acolyte, which sounds fun. I like the sound of it. And I know there's some people who are like, oh, Brie Larson's going to be in it, and it's going to be more powerful than Darth Vader, which, you know, that's dumb. I hope that's not the case, but, you know, I guess we'll see. Lando, which is made by the guy who did Dear White People. Ooh, okay. Excuse me.
Curious to see how that one turns out.
Really don't know if I want to see a Dear White People type of Star Wars movie, but you know what? I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it might be really good.
I wasn't a fan of Dear White People. I only watched like an episode, and I did not like it. It inspired a very visceral reaction out of me.
I've heard about it, but I had no interest to check it out.
And it's not just my white fragility. It's just like, bro, it's so, like, there's nothing clever going on. It's just them just because yelling is a good way of getting your point across doesn't mean it's the best way to get your point across, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. Back to Star Wars. We also got Rangers of the New Republic, which I'm not really that interested in.
Yeah.
Also, after that whole Gina Carano debacle that happened, it's like, oh boy. And we also have The Mandalorian Season 3, so that could come out at some point.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if they just ended it at Season 2, because I thought that was a really great ending, but hey, I wouldn't mind more Mandalorian content.
No, I'm totally fine with more content from the man.
I would totally dig new content for... I would totally like new Mandalorian content.
Yes, and give us more Mando and Grogu.
Yes. I love the scene in the second season where he's like Grogu and he's like, he just like looks up at him. It's like, the cuteness is unreal.
Yeah, I'm just dying of cuteness. from the cuteness of Grogu.
We also have a Rian Johnson new Star Wars movie trilogy, which I'm sure will cause a ripple effect amongst fanboys. All I'll say is that, you know what, I don't think he was the right person to have for the main Star Wars trilogy. I think he played a... Now, I think The Last Jedi was the best one of the whole series, mainly because Rian Johnson actually tried to do some new things with his version of Star Wars. And you know what? I respect that.
Yeah, he had the balls to do something different, and I respect the hell out of him for doing that.
And you know what? I'd like to see what he does without any... I'd love to see him just go off the rails. They just let him play in the sandbox, and they don't, like, get in the way of anything.
No, just give him full creative freedom, and just see what he does. With no studio interference.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, as long as you guys give Rian Johnson that, I'm down with that. I would not mind that.
Oh, I wouldn't, because you know what? I loved Last Jedi.
I you know what? I like it. I still quite like. I have issues with it. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate. It's like I don't like. I'm not as mad at it as some other movies. There's some issues I have with the movie, but I enjoyed it. I think it is one of the best Star Wars movies since the... I mean, I can't even say that. That would be blasphemy. But I think it's one of the better Star Wars movies ever. Because, again, it tried new things. Like, it wasn't afraid to just go off and just try and go on a different path. Now, I don't think it was the... Now, in hindsight, I don't think this movie was the right choice for, say... Oh, what's a good way... How's a good way to put it, Jacob? Here's a good one. I don't think it was a good idea to have him come on with J.J. Abrams. Because, again, as we said, they didn't have a plan... And then he just comes in and just gets rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they should have either had J.J. Abrams direct the entire sequel trilogy or Rian Johnson. Not like J.J. Abrams, then Rian Johnson, and that stirred up controversy, and then bring back J.J. Abrams, and it ended in a horrible way. Just a mess.
Yeah, but we'll get to that when we talk about the Star Wars sequel movies.
Yeah, we
gotta stop mentioning it, because then I'll start getting all ranty about it.
Yeah, let's wait until the Star Wars films. Just savor the flavor. Hold in your anger and your happiness.
I'd love to see a Lando. I would love to see more Donald Glover as Lando. He was actually one of my favorite parts of the Solo movie.
Oh, mine too.
Aside from the guy who played Han Solo. He was great. That's a good movie. Like, it's not a bad film.
No.
I might have been too hard on it when it came out, is my point.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't. I was just like, do we really need this movie? And, Ron Howard. But, it turned out to be really fun.
Oh, yes. We also have a droid story, which, oh boy... Let's just say I'm not looking forward to that one. It's not like I'm prejudiced against droids. It's just I don't think they're that interesting. The only ones I like are HK-47 from the KOTOR games. Or KOTOR game. I've only played the first one. R2-D2 and BD-1. And that's about it.
BD-1's my favorite. Then I say K2SO.
Oh yeah, K2SO was fun too. Bad Batch Season 2 might be coming out, which, hey, I thought the first season was pretty good. I like the idea of these kind of defective clones running around, doing mercenary work, basically.
Me too. And, there's... basically, it's just a fun show. There's really nothing much else to it. It's just fun.
It's good Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, it knew what it was. And I like that.
I also heard, but again, back to Taika Waititi. He's the one I'm looking most forward to.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait to see how he handles Star Wars.
I mean, he directed an episode of The Mandalorian, which was pretty good. I really hope to see what Taika Waititi would do. Again, I hope that they just give him free reign and they don't get their little fingers on it. I think it could be incredible.
Oh, yeah, because Taika Waititi is our Lord and Savior.
Yeah. After that whole, after Thor Ragnarok, which saved the Thor movies from being a complete mediocrity, love to see him take on a Star Wars movie. I think he'd be a very nice fit.
Oh, yeah.
Bring something new to the Star Wars. Because, I'm a guy who likes seeing new things to things that I like.
Yes, bring something different to it. Don't give us the same old thing.
Yeah, I mean, as much as they screwed the pooch on the Star Wars sequels, stuff like The Mandalorian has made me excited for Star Wars again. And I'm very interested to see what they do next.
I am too.
In other words, me and Jacob really like Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Love Star Wars, despite the controversy surrounding the newer movies. Hey, we got Mandalorian. We're getting good Star Wars, people. I'm happy about that.
You know who else I think would have made a good Star Wars movie before the whole fucking thing happened with him? I think Joss Whedon would have made a good Star Wars movie.
You know what? He would have.
I mean, he already was doing it with Firefly. I mean, come on. I would say make it happen, but, he's kind of persona non grata over at Hollywood right now, so might not be a great idea, but I think Joss Whedon would have made a good Star Wars movie. Like, back in his prime.
Yeah.
Before he, fucking exploded.
Oh, boy.
Also, I would like, who's another... You know who I think would make an interesting Star Wars movie? And I'm sure Carlton would be intrigued by this.
Who?
I'm wondering if you can guess who I'm going to say.
Huh. Does his name start with a Q?
Yes, it does.
Quentin Tarantino?
Yes!
I knew it! This is funny you said that. I was just thinking, directors who would be interesting to take on Star Wars, and I thought of, maybe, how about Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah, I think QT would be very interesting choice for Star Wars.
You know who else I think would be interesting?
Who?
David Lowery.
Oh, man, that would just... Oh, God, I would love to see him do Star Wars. I don't know what he'd think of that. I know he kind of makes the, weirder indie movies, but hey, he works with Disney, so maybe make it happen, Hollywood. I mean, Lowry's great. Green Knight, man, great movie. I mean, it would be kind of weird to see an art house Star Wars movie, but hey, he's made some good mainstream movies too. So, make it happen, people.
Make it happen.
Oh, it was another director I think would be neat on Star Wars. I don't know, but there's a lot of people I could think of. Or not a lot of people.
I know. I know one who would be phenomenal.
Oh, God. I'm kind of fearing this, but here, say what you're going to say.
Your all-time favorite director, Zack Snyder.
You know what? I heard he's making a movie that's kind of like Star Wars, but it's Seven Samurai. Which, I'm just kind of like, dude, but it's already inspired by Seven Samurai. That'd be kind of weird. But, I think, as much as I don't like a lot of his movies, I would be kind of intrigued to see what he would do with Star Wars. Just keep him away from the writing table and just have him be the director. I think it would be fine.
I will say, he would be phenomenal when it comes to visuals for Star Wars.
Oh God, yes. He is a great visual director. I mean, I've never doubted that. I've never tried to get in the way of that.
Well.
James Gunn?
Ooh, James Gunn, yeah. Another one.
I think that would be an interesting one. I know Carlton probably wouldn't like that one, but you know what? He's not here, so. But I think James Gunn would do. I think that would be an interesting pairing.
It'd be fun.
Oh yeah, it'd definitely be fun. Even though he kind of already did it with Guardians of the Galaxy, so I bet he's like, I don't know. But hey, man, I would be interested to see if he took on Star Wars. But who were you gonna say?
Oh boy. Imagine Michael Bay doing a Star Wars film. Explosions everywhere.
Oh man, it'd be like a glorious disaster of a film. But hey, it doesn't seem like he's doing.
Everywhere.
It's just explosions everywhere. What? This would just be great. He just makes a movie about the demolitions expert into Star Wars. He has all the explosions he wants, baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Was another director I think would be great on Star Wars. I don't know.
I'm gonna go outside the box with this one. James Wan.
James Wan? That would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, it's not like the obvious pick for a Star Wars film, but hey, he made Aquaman. We wouldn't have expected him to make a movie like Aquaman. So, like, you know what, James Wan? I think he would be interesting if he were to take on Star Wars.
I think so too. Here's another out of the box one. What if David Fincher made a Star Wars movie? How do you think that would go?
Oh, it would be so grim and just like dirty.
I don't even think he's that interested in making. I know he likes Alien, which he made Alien 3, which oh boy, that's another one that would be interesting to talk about someday. That's another one I kind of want to. That's something else I'd like. I want to salivate the taste before I do it. At least the first two, anyway. There's another intriguing director. Jordan Peele? I don't know. Coming back to our episode. What? Yeah, that'd be an intriguing one. I wonder what he'd do if he did Star Wars. I'm sure it'd be quite interesting.
Who would? Oh, another unpopular one. The Safdie brothers.
Oh man, that would probably look super grungy and just high octane the entire time. I'm just saying.
I'm just thinking outside the box, like directors who you would not like imagine taking on Star Wars, like James Wan, Safdie brothers.
You want just like you feel like you just snorted some coke and you got paranoid. Like there you go to the Safdie brothers, my friends.
Yeah. Oh, another one. An interesting director, Edgar Wright.
Oh man, I would love to see him do Star Wars. Ah man. That would be perfect.
That'd be phenomenal.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Oh, I know Edgar Wright is kind of disillusioned with the whole thing and making like studio movies, but dude, would love to see him make Star Wars.
Oh yeah, he would be amazing.
Oh my God, get Simon Pegg in there and fucking Nick Frost, and they just go on adventures. Oh man, yeah. That would be great. Or, he'd probably do something different, but, I would love to see him take on Star Wars.
Oh, me too.
Alright, one more director, and then we can wrap this up.
Alright.
And you can pick your movie. What's another director? Man. Oh, I got one. This is going to be a really weird one, so brace yourselves.
Oh, boy.
What if Nicholas Winding Refn did a Star Wars movie? That would be interesting.
That'd be very fascinating.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Just like...
That'd be a fascinating one.
That'd be a weird one. I can tell you right now, and I would go and watch it in a heartbeat.
Oh, I would watch it just to see what he would do with a Star Wars film. Or Star Wars thing.
I love how you guessed that I thought Quentin Tarantino would make a good Star Wars movie. I think he'd be an interesting pick for a Star Wars movie.
I think he would be good at Star Wars.
I mean, I know he probably. I know he probably would just be like. I think he prefers to just make his own movies, but that would be fun if he made a Star Wars film.
He would probably be like, give us some violence and some foot shots.
Yeah. Get all those Twi'lek feet while you're at it. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. You got one? Or, no.
Oh. One more, then we can wrap it up.
All right.
Another one that you wouldn't, another director that people wouldn't expect. Ryan Coogler.
Ooh, yeah, that'd actually be fun.
Yeah, that'd be I would be very curious to see how he would handle a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, I'd enjoy. I would be very curious in seeing that.
Me too, especially Star Wars, because he's mostly made these films like centered around like the African American community. So it'd be interesting to see how he would handle a Star Wars film.
Yeah. Anyways, know what they say about dead noise. But yeah, so we've this turned into a Star Wars rant video. So Jacob, do you choose this week? Do you have any film ideas for us to talk about?
Oh yes, I have one film that I would love to discuss on here, and I'm talking about Moonlight.
Moonlight. Oh man, great film. I had a feeling you might either bring that up or do 12 Years a Slave.
I thought about doing Us because you brought decided Get Out. And I was like, maybe we can do Us. But I was like, I kept thinking about Moonlight. And I was like, I would love to do Moonlight.
All right, Moonlight it is. I am very excited to take on that because I really enjoyed Moonlight.
I love it.
Fantastic film. Anyways. But yeah, that was the episode of Brit and Jacob Go to the Movies. This was fun. I love talking about Star Wars with people. Anyways, I've been Britton.
I've been Jacob.
And we do it for the love of the movies. At least most of the time.
Yes, we do.
And Moonlight it is next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Hold on real quick. It's not, hold on. Alright, now I'm about to get off. Okay, see y'all later.
See y'all later.
Alright, bye-bye now.